Hello, hello, and welcome to another week. Welcome, good to have you here. Good to see everybody on the map as usual. I see a couple of new faces today. Hi, Thomas from Richland, Michigan, and Harry from Webster, Massachusetts. MA, blanking on the states today. Okay, welcome. We got some exciting news this week from Blackmagic out of nowhere. They just released an update to the ATEM Mini Pro and Extreme, and a lot of good features in there. So if you missed the video I just put out on Friday, go take a look. That covers the covers a lot of the updates, but we're gonna go and play around with a bunch of stuff today as well. So bring your questions. If you have a question, start your message with the letter Q in front, and that makes it easier for me to see on the screen here. Otherwise, we're just gonna dive in and talk about what's new. Before we do that, I guess I've been working on some studio gear. My plans to rearrange this room are coming along. Part of the plan was I just finished this morning. This is a 4U rack cabinet, which is going to sit on top of the desk, and I have two of them. There's one there, there's one down on the floor. You can kind of see it down there. That's that white thing. I got these little rails, put them in the side. Oh yeah, don't look at the bottom, it's ugly. I only painted the top because you're never gonna see the bottom. But my plan is to have some of the gear on top of the desk, like the HyperDex, and the bottom will be a patch panel. So I have a bunch of HDMI and USB and Ethernet and stuff. So I can have quick access to that on top of the desk. So hopefully that'll make things easier to play around with in the future and a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to get rid of one of the desks as well. So I'm going to consolidate. Matt says, had a nice exchange with OC. They're working on a case with the new GoStream Duet. Oh, nice. Yeah, because they have one for the regular one, but not with SDI ports. So that'll be cool. It's a great size. Yeah, I was trying to decide between 4 and 6U. I ended up with 4U because I realized 6 is actually pretty tall, and I'm gonna have monitors on top of that, and monitors on top of the 6U would be too high. So I'll be able to have the monitors on top of the 4U. It'll be a little bit higher than they are now. They're actually kind of low right now. You can see, I think I have yeah, you can see they're like 3 inches off the desk, and it's kind of low. I prefer them generally kind of low, but they're going to end up being now starting at, this high. So basically to where the camera is will be the height of it. I think it'll work. I hope it works. Yeah. Anyway. Next thing you know, you'll start painting the gear white again. Yeah, I painted those two things white a long time ago, but that's because they were the ugly gray. At least all the new Blackmagic gear is nice black now. Curtis Judd recently made a video about the current OC kit. Oh, nice. I didn't see that. I should go watch it. Oh yeah, also today, again, we are streaming via SRT to YouTube. So last week, people were saying there were some buffering issues with the stream, but I actually heard back from someone at YouTube, and they said that there was no problem with the connection from the web presenter to YouTube the entire stream. So the buffering was probably on the viewer end. It also wasn't happening to everybody, so it was definitely had to do with individual viewers. But what am I saying? My suspicion is that because the latency is even less with SRT, it means that if you're at all, if your connection's at all sensitive on the viewer side, it has less buffer to play with compared to with the RTMP buffer. So that's my theory. But we're still in ultra low latency today, so hopefully everything is fine with the stream. Okay. So far, no issues. Great. Good to hear. Okay. let's take a look at the questions. Is SRT a better option than streaming bridge to capture program in OBS? Big fan of your channel. Thanks. The SRT better option than streaming bridge to capture program if you want the program in OBS. Let me think. If you're doing the streaming bridge, how does that help you with OBS? I'm not sure. I don't quite understand the two different options here. If you want your program in OBS, you can do it either through USB or HDMI capture card. I guess you could run the stream into a streaming bridge and run that into a capture card, but that's an extra step. I don't know you can... I don't think you can stream SRT directly into OBS. I haven't looked for a plugin, but it's definitely not native. So I'm not quite sure. Will Zoom conference be easy with new ATEM update? So last I tested SRT in OBS, it was not very good with high latency. I didn't even know that was a thing. Interesting. Did you have to install a plugin? I assume so. So will Zoom conference be easy with the new ATEM update? So the thing that changes is that the USB output from the ATEM can now be changed. It used to only be program, which is what you would normally want in Zoom, unless you're doing the thing that I did a video about a while ago, which was if you want to send your camera feed to Zoom, but have your ATEM record something else. So that's the big change. And on the Extreme now, your webcam out can actually be any of your inputs, not just Multiview. So on the Mini, you only get the option between Multiview, program, and preview, which is still useful, but the webcam out here on the Extreme can now be camera 1. And this is the really cool thing, because now it means, oh, I forgot to turn on the Zoom Zoom meeting to do the AI transcript. I should, oh shoot, why did I get signed up? I should go turn this on so I can get the AI transcript. There we go. New meeting. And start summary. Okay, now I'm in Zoom and it's doing a AI summary of the meeting, so I'll have notes about this later that I can put in the description. Anyway, Zoom is, let's see, what camera is Zoom using? Yeah, so it's using the ATEM Mini Extreme, which means as the Extreme, actually this is how it's set up right now. So if you look at the Multiview, which is here, the Multiview, the Extreme is showing me that it's got SuperSource in the program, which is what I would do if I'm like presenting slides, or right now it's the Apple TV, but I could like, you know, screen share slides into that or whatever, or plug in my computer into it. And now I can stream and record on the drive this nice side-by-side layout. But in Zoom, Zoom is getting just the camera, which is now what I want, so that in the meeting, I'm not, I don't want, let me change it to program. So now Zoom has the Multiview, which is not what I want, because I would be actually sharing my screen natively in Zoom. Because this is going to be blurry slides for people on the other end, because it like treats it like a camera, so it's like low resolution. So that's the big change for Zoom. I'm actually really excited about it. So now I can go webcam out, camera 1. Zoom gets just the clean camera feed, but I'm still recording the Multiview, or SuperSource, not Multiview, which is great. I'm excited about that. I think it's a great update. On the Mini, obviously there's no SuperSource, so it's a little bit different. If I go over to the Mini here, the output options here are just Multiview, program, and preview. So I can't send camera 1 to Zoom, but I could send preview to Zoom and put camera 1 on preview as an option. And then just as long as you don't touch it, it'll be fine during the meeting. So it's kind of cool. I'm excited about that. Can I program a companion button to launch Zoom AI transcript? I would have to do it from, I would have to be running, well, no, last week we did try running something on my Mac from companion. I might be able to do it. I know, I have to like, you have to script Zoom, right? You have to like start a meeting, push that button to start the summary. I'm not sure. Okay, let me take a look at the rest of the comments here. Don't forget to start your message with Q. The okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything recent about that topic. Now you can use the Multiview via USB-C out QuickTime in your Mac as a monitor, and then use the HDMI out of the ATEM for YoloBox HDMI in. Yeah, that would be another good way to do it. Can we see your setup for today's show in a quick walkthrough? I don't know if I would be a quick walkthrough. It's my normal whole situation here, but I do have I do have a video I think that goes over a pretty good overview of it. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Yeah, it's relatively recent. It was from just February. So here, I'll drop the link in the chat. I realized it had been a long time since I'd done a video, and things have gotten quite complicated. But it's the mic is sitting, you know, just above the frame here. I'm actually touching the mic, and you can see my finger. That's how close it is to the frame. But that's the mic. It's running XLR into the mixer in the back, which is down on the floor, the X32 mixer. That's doing the audio processing, feeding digital audio back into the ATEM, the Constellation, which is the fun thing that I can do with that 4ME Constellation. And that's going out to the web presenter. The web presenter is streaming SRT to YouTube today, which is the new, relatively new update. Did I see that there appears to be some kind of web-based configuration API included with the update? So funny story. Yeah, the funny story. If you go to your browser and type in the IP address of your ATEM /admin, you get this page, which is the same thing that shows up inside of the ATEM Setup app. In the ATEM Setup app, if I click this, it turns out this was a web page the whole time. You just never would know. This is actually a browser, and this is a web page. So who knew? Oh, while this is turned on, I should really do that. Or while it's plugged in, rather. I plugged it in via USB, and I want to also allow setup over Ethernet. So actually, this is the other ATEM because this one is 200.2. So if I go to that, now there's the extreme setup page. There's also like an HTTP API on it as well. I haven't dug into figuring it out yet, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Daniel says, I'm excited about the ATEM update USB output to be set for Multiview. Do you know if the USB output signal is the same quality and color as dedicated SDI or HDMI outputs? I don't think that changed, but it is not exactly the same. So if we look at, is this gonna demonstrate it? It's not very noticeable in my picture, which is why I don't really mind, because most of the color in my image is in the mid-ranges, which aren't really affected, but in the dark shadows and in the highlights, it's just more contrasty. And I don't think that changed. So the, I'm trying to figure out what can I do to show, to try to demonstrate that better. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can just like hold up something dark to see if it looks different. It looks very, very similar to me, but it's hard to tell. But no, I don't think that changed. Does that mean the ATEM software control settings are also on a web page? No, I don't think so. So the ATEM software control app is a native app, and this is not a web page, and nothing in here is a web page. This is all part of the actual app interface. But hey, at least you can get to that settings page without installing this setup app now. Frankie says, updated our Extreme ISO SDI, no problem with our Extreme ISO HDMI. I can access the setup page but not control. That's weird. That sounds strange. I don't know what would have. It should just show up in your. This is the Extreme ISO actually HDMI. It should just show up here. If it doesn't, try typing in the IP address manually. And the other way you can do it is if you're in the ATEM setup app, then this button should also launch it. Do try connecting over USB to see if it shows up that way too. But yeah, I don't know. Something's definitely wrong if you're not able to connect to it. Have I got gradients on your test pattern file to demo the extra contrast? I do. Let's see. I guess I can pull that out. Where is it? I think it's loaded into that HyperDeck. Let's find out. Let's see. Is it? Nope. Nope. HyperDeck. Plus. Why does it say there's no clips? Okay, I have to go poke it. Yeah, because it was set to network. That's the one thing I don't like about the HyperDecks, and one of the other reasons that I'm switching to have them in front of me so that they'll be in front of me here, because you actually have to poke them physically. You can't get to any of their settings over the network. Okay, so what was I doing? Okay, so I started the test clip, so I should be able to now let's go make a new super source layout with myself, and then box 2 will be HyperDeck Plus at half size, and box 3 at half size. I guess that'll be my computer, because that's going to show us the zoom picture. So that's going to be computer, and let's crop myself. Okay. So now I do need to go send the computer is plugged into the Extreme. So I need to send webcam out is going to get camera. I guess I'll use camera 4 for that. And then I need to go send the HyperDeck clip to that, which is this one. And now Zoom should be showing the test clip. There we go. So now let's see. Do we see any differences? This is very hard for me to tell. I think I see a difference. It's small for me. It's going to be easier for you if you screenshot this and then like eyedrop it in Photoshop. So we should see here in, this is actually looking, it's actually looking really almost identical now that I think about it. Because I do see the ring here in zoom. And here's the gradient. Interesting. This is actually looking really good. So what I guess what I can do is I can go into yeah, they do look very similar. Maybe they did fix it. I wonder if there's any difference if it's program out. Let's try that. Let's go to the extreme and then set in camera 4 on program and then change the output to program. Now do we see any difference? No, it looks the same to me. Do you think they fixed it? That would be exciting. Nil said it might be a fix on Zoom side. That's an option. I guess they could have flattened out the color space. Feels like a weird thing to do for Zoom. The right one is +5 ahead. That's not surprising. That the USB webcam out is slower than the HDMI out. This isn't even the HDMI out. Let me change this. What I can do is I can make the right box of super source be the multi-view of the ATEM. Yeah. So this is even better demo because this is the HDMI coming out of the ATEM, which I can also set to program. Oops, wrong one. Output 1. And now we have the HDMI out of... Oh, those are closer in sync, I think. So the one on the right is now the HDMI out of the extreme. So this is the actual sync demonstration because the before it was coming out of the Constellation, not the extreme. Okay, so hey, Gwen has a good idea. Checking QuickTime to see if it's a Zoom fix. Good idea. So let's open up QuickTime. New movie recording. And here is QuickTime. Oh. Interesting. I do see it flattened out. I don't see the ring inside here anymore. Or there. And those two look the same. And those two look the same or extremely similar anyway. So Zoom is doing something different with the colors. And that's Zoom. Good call, Gwen. That's fascinating. Now here's Zoom and QuickTime next to each other. So Zoom did something different with the color handling. No, I don't want to use my iPhone as a webcam. Thank you. Interesting. Well, I learned something new. That's good, though, because that means if you're using this in a Zoom meeting, now your colors look good. I wonder how they did that. I don't even have HD checked. If we do that, doesn't really change what I'm seeing. In Zoom, there's a low light checkbox option. It's not turned on. And I don't have the touch-up appearance checked either. I wonder what it will do if I check that. Nothing really. Let's say adjust for low light. That definitely brightens it. I can see all the grays are getting brighter with the low light turned on. I can go crank it way up. But no, even with it off, it is looking correct. Okay, well, that's good. Somebody fixed something. And let me undo everything that I just did. Webcam out, gets camera 1, great. And then back to Constellation. Okay, what's going on in the chat? The plot thickens. Didn't Zoom do something with the colors from the ATEM? I didn't know about that. I don't remember reading about that or anything. But Zoom fixed the issue for them after years of waiting. Yeah. Advanced video settings. Okay, we can take a look at advanced video settings really quick. Let's see. Video. Advanced. Okay, we can test those. Go back to the extreme. Outputs. Program. And zoom. Optimize the quality of the video I send with denoise. That was turned. Let's turn all of these. Let's turn those off. Doesn't really change it from my end in Zoom. It could be on the remote end of a Zoom that might have an effect. What happens if I turn off hardware acceleration? Nothing in my preview. So again, that might be just over the remote connection. So I don't really see anything here. What crashed? Looks fine here. I bet Andy was involved with the fix Zoom. We're lucky to get him as an employee. I wonder. I'm going to have to ask him. Okay, let me scroll back up and catch up on the chats. That's good news. Good news. Andrew says, now that we have borderless multi-views from the ATEM, what creative uses could this be put to as a source? So one thing that I have done in the couple weeks ago was trying this whole thing of like taking 4 1080 videos and then turning it into a 4K image and sending that over a stream and then extracting it on the other end, which you can now do in the ATEM Mini Extreme, except it won't be HD. It'll be half HD. But here, for example, I guess this is a good layout for this. So is this crop? I think there's a crop on the super source. Let me fix this really quick. Let me go back to here. No crop on the computer. Yeah, there's a crop on the box too. Oh wait, that's correct. Shoot, wrong super source. Box 1, box 2. Okay, it's not cropped. That gray is just really hard to see against the green, I guess. I guess I should move my camera a little bit higher. There we go. Okay. Okay, back to the extreme. What I wanted to do was show, because now we're looking at the multi-view of the extreme down there. So now we can play with the multi-view settings. If we go into the settings here, there's a whole bunch of new settings. So there's borders. I can turn off the borders, for example. You can also change the border color now, which is, I guess, cool. I never really had a problem with that color, but if you wanted it to be white or black or blue, I don't know why you would, but you can do border colors now, which is cool. I think I like it just gray. And oh, the YouTube stream is crashing for people? Uh-oh. Let's take a look. Stream froze, buffered, back after refresh. Could be on my end because of what Aaron said earlier. No issue here. Zoom made a toggle to crash. So it crashed when I did something in Zoom. I don't see any errors in YouTube. YouTube is saying stream is healthy. Huh. No, weird. Okay, back to Multiview. So what I was saying was, if you switch your Multiview to do this, where you have 4 boxes, you can have camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. Then you turn off the borders. Now it's like, oh, and turn off all of the labels, which you can. Why can't I turn off the label in that one? There's label options for those 3. Why isn't there a label option for that one? That seems like a bug. What the heck? Because you can turn off the text for all the other ones. That's so weird. So what I was getting at is, if you turn off all the text, then it's kind of like a multi-view, or a clean multi-view. Except I can't get the label off of the first one. I think that's a mistake. That doesn't make any sense why that would be, why that option wouldn't be there. I can turn on the audio meters, turn on the text, yeah. So if I could turn that off, then you would have a 4-up clean multi-view, which you could then stream and then extract back into 4 individual video feeds, but now they're half resolution because this is not a 4K switcher. So it's not quite, it's not going to give you HD quality, but you could do that trick with the ATEM now, which is kind of cool. I have no idea why it doesn't make any sense that the text option isn't. Ooh, is it because the recording status is in the top and it doesn't have text? Let's see. That's what it was. I found a bug. When the top left box is set to something that doesn't have a text overlay, it is correctly not showing me the option of removing the text overlay here. But when I put it into this mode, it's remembering that setting. So if I change this to something that does have the text option in the top left corner and put it back into this mode, the button does appear. So hopefully they can fix that. That's really funny. And then why can't I turn those on? Okay, definitely some bugs to work out still. Yeah, weird. So I wonder if it's the same thing. Like, because it's this one. No. Huh. No idea why those don't let me. Oh, maybe because this. No, that's camera 2, so that one. Well, this is not my job to be Blackmagic's QA department. Normally, they don't let bugs go out, bugs like this go out, because they have very strict QA processes. Yeah, okay. We'll send that to them. Is it first box or camera 1? You can't turn off the label. It's first box, yeah. Okay, maybe back to the questions. Oh, and then a whole bunch of people said no problem here. So it sounds like maybe it was one part of YouTube's distribution had a hiccup. Okay. In production, always wait to the 0.1 release. That is a good point. Yes. So 9.5 came out. So take a look at wait for a 9.5.1 if you're using this in productions that you can't afford glitches. Cinematic Look says the ISO versions will have the possibility of injecting to resolve this. Will the network port and disk be able to handle the data flow, eliminating the need to use the Blackmagic Cloud Store? Yes. So that's the other really cool thing. With the Extreme, I have it plugged. I have a drive plugged in. So if I go to, make sure there's no stream keys. Okay. If I go to record, here we'll do Extreme test, and I'm recording ISO recording. I haven't tried the Blackmagic Cloud yet, but if I just do this, I'm now recording all 8 cameras in program onto the drive. The new thing is that if you go into Finder and go to your network section, these are all my NASs here, but now the Extreme shows up. And there's the drive plugged into the Extreme. And I can open that up, and here's this Extreme test, which is being recorded. This is the in-progress recordings that are being recorded right now. Then I can just browse to using Finder. It used to be that it only worked over FTP, which was kind of annoying. But now you can just mount it directly in Finder. And if I go to Resolve, I can go import media, and I can go to the network, go to the Extreme, go to that folder, go to the Extreme test, and point it at the video ISO files folder. I think I have to click the video ISO files folder, click open. Oh, no, I have to click the files and click open. Okay, there we go. I guess I didn't need the black ones. There's nothing there. But now you can see that Resolve knows these are being recorded. And this is right now. So I can go open this up, and I can actually play it back. And it's literally what's happening right now. I guess I didn't need the black ones. So, oh, not quite able to play it in real time, which is probably the difference between this and the HyperDex. But it's still very nearly real time. Not quite able to play it in real time, which is probably the difference between this and the HyperDex. I should put my computer audio on the stream so you can hear it. Let me get the computer audio. I'll make it a little bit quieter. Here. So now when I play this back in Resolve, you should hear it. I should put my computer audio on the stream so you can hear it. Let me get the computer audio. Isn't that crazy? So now when I play this back in Resolve, you should hear it. Now it's going to loop back on itself again. Okay. But yeah, so it's able to play back. This is no cloud store. This is just Resolve pointed at the network drive of the ATEM Mini Extreme. So that's pretty cool. Do you depend on the network? You can't do that entirely locally. I mean, it's local network, but yeah, it is a network protocol. So I have the ATEM plugged in over Ethernet. I have my computer plugged in over Ethernet, and it's a network protocol to mount the drive. It's not internet, but it's all on the LAN here. We're still using the Mini ISO. Does this apply? Yeah, so this should work on the Mini ISO too. This is I'm testing on the Extreme right now, but let's go do it on the ISO, although I would have to plug in a drive. One thing somebody did ask is, can you copy the files while they're being created? Which I haven't tried yet. Let's find out. I don't think this is going to work. But I'm going to copy that file and put it in my downloads folder. And we'll see what happens. The file is being written right now. So we'll see if it crashes the recording. This is possibly going to be a disaster. I'm really curious what happens when it gets to the end. Because, the file is growing. Right now it's 1.2 gigawatts, 1.21 gigabytes. So it is copying 1.14, which is the size when I started the copy. So we'll see what happens when it gets to the end. What are you doing? Says I killed a recording once copying over FTP before hitting stop. Yeah, which I'm not surprised about because that shouldn't work. But the big thing that is different now is that if you look in the release notes, they call it growing file support. So that is the thing that lets Resolve play back the file as it's being recorded. Can you open the DaVinci Resolve project with the live edits, or only works after the recording is finished? It's still recording. It's been recording the whole time. That was what I was showing you, is that I'm literally recording this file right now to this, and Resolve is playing it back as we speak. The big question is what's going to happen with this copy of it as it's recorded. So we'll see. I'm going to try playing it back. Can't be opened. Okay, so probably because it's missing like the file closed mark. We'll see if VLC can handle it. Sometimes VLC is able to handle corrupted files. No, it's missing the metadata that says it's done. Oh, you mean the DRP file? I don't think so. I would be extremely surprised if that worked. Should I try it? It's right there. Let's try it. Loading. Well, it knows the file's being recorded. Here's the timeline. I don't think it's going to sync any changes if I make any cuts, though. Can do some cuts in here. Super source, color, media player, key. Let's, I guess, close that and then open it again. So it is, oops. I thought I was over here. Apparently my shortcut for zooming the timeline is the same as zooming my screen. Oh, there it goes. Okay. No, it's here. This doesn't make any sense. And I can even play back. Wow. Oh, the super source didn't get. That's annoying. Yeah, they didn't fix that. Super source still doesn't show up in the ISO project. The upstream key did, though. I'm surprised this worked at all. Doesn't make any sense. But then yeah, so like even in here, it still knows these files are being recorded. Huh. Well, that was fun. Okay, so the other test is, did I mess up the recording by copying that file midway? We know that the copy didn't work, but let's see if the original works if I stop recording. So if I stop recording, it should close out this file, and now I should be able to open this in QuickTime. And hopefully it's all here. It looks like copying the file did not mess it up. So at least you won't accidentally corrupt your recordings. That's good. And then by copying that file midway, we know the copy didn't work. Yeah, and that was the last thing I said. Great. Okay. So that's good. Okay, where are we on the chat? I wonder if an app to sync drives would work from copying like Carbon Copy Cloner on Mac. I suspect not, because I think the problem is that the file doesn't have the metadata saved in it until it stops recording, which I think is different from when you record in ProRes, because this is not ProRes recording. Can you show how to make instant replay and resolve? Is it possible to do with normal keyboard, or do you have to have the replay editor? You don't have to have the replay editor keyboard, but it's definitely a lot easier to manage if you do. So I wanted to do a actual proper video about this. I haven't yet, but if we let me do this again. So I'm going to turn on recording. So we're recording now. I have to, let me get rid of these. So the way it works is you have to add, oh, and now I have to grab 2. So you add your 4 files that are your whatever angles are being recorded. Now I can do replay with this. There's more I have to set up, which is the, and I don't want to do it right now because it's going to mess up. Maybe it won't mess things up. Monitor device. Yeah, I can do it through the deck link. So you have to have a deck link or Ultra Studio plugged into your computer that's running Resolve. And I can tell it to use the deck link for monitoring. And if I do that, oh, you have to restart Resolve. Okay. Then I'm also going to put the deck link output on the screen here. So let me go back over here. I guess I can use SuperSource 2 for it. So I need I'm going to use box 4, which is going to be deck link 1. There we go. So where are you? Size up here. Oops, that's the wrong SuperSource. SuperSource 2, box 4 gets the deck link card, and you go up there. Okay, so the top right corner is the deck link output, which is Resolve's output. So if I go back to replay demo, these are still being recorded. Yeah, so now see how as I am playing in Resolve, it's actually showing me in that corner, that's the deck link output. So great. So to actually do the replay, this is where you find something that happens. You mark POI, and now that that's marked, you can say run. Ooh, something is wrong with the audio. Something is weird. It sounds weird with the audio. What's going on? I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, so this is why I said it's like awkward to do in Resolve, because basically you have to use this whole little corner of like click the button there to add POI. Then you click the run button. That starts playing this back, and then you click dump, which should trigger the ATEM. I also don't have this actually connected to the ATEM to do the proper. Actually, I can't even do it with the extreme because I need 2 outs. You need the key fill output. Sorry, no, that's coming from the deck link. So I should have the deck link. I'm running out of SuperSource boxes. Anyway, this is why I need to do an actual video of it that explains things in the right order. For now, point is, yes, you can do it in Resolve. It's just not as nice because you don't have all the buttons for like when you mark a POI, there's like a button on the keyboard that says like go back 4 seconds and play from there, right? Which is super handy. I would have to like manually choose that point here, and then now the sound sounds right fine. So keyboard is nice, but you can do it in Resolve, which is cool. Now I'm way behind on the chat. Okay. Blackmagic really does Blackmagic. Yeah. Are we going to be able to see live replays of highlights of your stream in the future? I mean, that still takes extra work. So I'm not going to do it. The DaVinci workflow could be great for doing on-site social media clips out of an event. Yeah. What deck link device do I have plugged into your Mac? It is the deck link. The names are always a challenge. Where are they? Oh my gosh. Capture and playback. Deck link. Models. 3G SDI. This one. Deck link Duo 2. So it gives me 4 outputs, and then you can desktop video setup. You can choose how to configure them. So I have, here's the deck link Duo. This is set to video output. Oh, it looks like that is just the one video. 2 is also a single channel. And then I think 3 and 4 are tied together. So Decklink Duo 3 is on connector 2. It's very confusing. Yeah, and I don't have 4. So Decklink Duo 3, the device, is a... Where is it set to key fill? Weird. Now I forgot where that's set. Also, it's confusing. The card is called Decklink Duo 2, but then you have Decklink Duo 2 in parentheses. Somewhere in here, there's a... Ah, there it is. Decklink Duo 2, the device number 2, is set to use SDI 3 and 4. So that gives me the key fill output, which is what you need in order for the replay to work. So I actually should have used the device Decklink Duo 2 in Resolve, not Decklink Duo 1, because this is just set to not do key fill. Yeah. So only device 1 and device 2 give you the option of doing key fill. The other ones don't give you the option. 3 does not give you the option of doing key and fill. You can only do device 3 out of port 2. Why? Very confusing to figure out the wiring for that. But once you get it, it's fine. Okay. Is it Decklink plugged into a PCI Express? Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's plugged into, there's a little Sonnet thing up there. Let me grab that. Where did I get that from? Must have been B&H. There it is. Yeah. I'll drop that link in chat. So that's this device, which this one, which gives you 3 slots. I decided I wanted 3 slots, not just the one that has 1 slot, because it's very expensive to just add 1 card. It's also expensive to add 3 cards, but at least this way I can add 3. So I already have the Decklink in there, and I'm going to add this one soon, which is the 2110 card, into the computer as well. And then I don't know what I'll use the 3rd slot for, but that's why I have 3, so I have room to grow. Okay. Don't forget to disable fade to black button. Small implementation greatly appreciated. Yes, that is a nice, it was a nice touch. I think it's hilarious that they added that. If you go into the settings, there is a new option, disable fade to black, and then you can never accidentally click the button again, which is great. Okay. 3rd slot for testing future gear. Yeah, exactly. So you're saying to use Resolve, I have to have a Decklink card in my computer. Can I use the HDMI of the computer into the ATEM to display the replay? No. So you do need a separate device. It doesn't have to be a Decklink. It can also be a Ultra Studio, which is this one. Theoretically, this Mini might be able to work in the future, but right now it doesn't, and that's only because one minor detail, which is the way it works is you have to have the key and fill channels coming out of Resolve in order for this to work at all. Let me actually show that. What I can do is let's go back to this super source, but I'm gonna do this properly. Okay, we're gonna go back to Resolve. We're gonna change this to use Decklink Duo 2, which has the key and fill output. Now I have to restart Resolve. Okay. Now you can see that the box went away. I'm going to then change my super source to show you both the key and the fill. So let's get my camera. Let's get the camera over there. And then I'm going to leave my computer so you can see my computer screen, but I'm going to get rid of the multiview. So the multiview is going to turn into the Decklink 3, which should be the key channel. Okay, so I've got two boxes here. Those are the two outputs coming out of that card. And this would be true either with the Decklink or with that Ultra Studio. So now if I go back into Resolve and load the instant replay demo, and we go queue it up, and you can see, uh-oh, am I not getting video? Did because what am I doing? Because those are the wrong ones. Decklink. Shoot, what is going on with that? Decklink 1. This is hard to set up, and then it's fine. Okay, Decklink Duo 2 gets connectors 3 and 4. Decklink 3 and 4. Do I have those plugged in? Decklink 3. Do I have Decklink 4 routed in here? There it is. Decklink Duo 2. Okay, something is very wrong, but this is what I wanted. Decklink Duo key 2 key. Okay. There we go. That's the key in the fill channel. No idea what's going on with the colors. Let's see. This must be a problem with Resolve. Let's quit Resolve and start it again. Instant replay demo. Okay, there we go. Oh, it worked a second ago. Shoot, something weird is going on. Well, this isn't going to work at all. Because what I wanted to show you was what happens when you... Yeah. I wonder if it has something to do with this file, or if it has... Or if it's got something to do with the device. Desktop video. Darn, this isn't going to work. 1080p 30 output level B. Okay, color space. Check your project output settings. The weird thing is that it was working fine on the other Decklink device. And right when I launched Resolve, it worked fine. Let's try... Okay, yeah, and we're doing... Okay, video monitoring, we're doing 1080 30. Dual link. Video bit depth. Maybe that's the problem. Aha! That looks better. Okay. Back in business. I don't know why that messed up the Decklink so bad. What I want to show you, hopefully this works now, is when I click run. Didn't work. We should be seeing something in that black box on the top. Because what it's doing, the point of this was, do I have that showing the right box? Decklink to fill. Yeah. But actually those are labeled wrong. I should fix my labels. it's actually key deck link to fill. Okay. That's correct now. That should be turning white when I run the replay. So what you do is you put those two inputs on a downstream key. So here's downstream key 4. The way you set this up is you go to downstream key 4 and you say your fill source is deck link to fill, your key source is deck link to key, and then you just leave it on air. Oops. Were those labeled correct? What's going on? What am I doing wrong? Deck link to key source should be deck link to key, which I thought was what we were looking at in super source, which is black. There we go. Right. Nope, not pre-multiplied. Is that correct? So what you do is you this is why you need the 2 channels. So you have to have your key and fill. What should be happening, and I'm not sure why it's not doing it right now, is when I click run, it should be sending the a white picture to that top box, which then enables your downstream key, and then it covers up your video, and that's what is actually doing the replay. It's not actually doing a switch in the ATEM. It's doing it's just using a downstream key. The other part of this, and the reason it only works with the Ultra Studio, I think the deck link doesn't actually work with the replay feature. Now that I think about it, I think it only works with the Ultra Studio, which I think is what's going on here and why we're not seeing it. They had to do a firmware update in the Ultra Studio, and one of the things that it does is normally the audio of your Ultra Studio is always on, and with this new update, Resolve can disable the audio output when it wants to. So when you're not playing it back, like when you're just scrubbing around, this would be sending the audio out of that channel as I'm scrubbing around, which is going to be awful, of course. You wouldn't want that live. So Resolve can disable the audio on that device, but that required a firmware update of the device. So that's why, it's all to say, that's why it only works with the 4K Mini right now, because they only put the firmware update on this one. They didn't put it on the HD Mini. So if you go to support, go to capture and playback, go to desktop video 1401, you'll see, oh wait, no, I think it was 14 that added it. No. Was it 12.9? Yeah. New features on the Ultra Studio 4K Mini adds mute on fill and key output for replay use. That is the feature that it added, and it's only on the 4K Mini right now. So if you see this get added in other models, that means it can work with Resolve. So currently, the only way to do it is with the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, because that's the only device that has the mute on fill and key. I suspect that'll change, but not 100% sure. But that is why I wasn't able to do it here, because this is a deck link, which is not actually supported. But I would have to disable my chat in order to do the demo, so that's why I'm saving it for a video. That was a very long explanation. Yes, replay has very particular hardware needs. Okay, let me go rapid fire through the chat because I'm way behind. Matt, YoloLive released 2.2.0 for the Ultra, and it fixed some things but not all, and lost the ability to feed Zoom, but overall it's a good release. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why they broke the Zoom connection. Cool, I haven't installed that yet. I should definitely take a look. Andre says, I like these Blackmagic updates, but they do very little on the Fairlight side for the ATEM Extreme. No mix minus. True. I don't know if it's a hardware limitation or if it's just something they weren't prioritizing. But I would like to see more audio updates. I agree. What kind of throughput is possible for accessing the recordings via the new network storage option on the ATEMs? Well, it does have a gigabit Ethernet connector. So definitely no faster than that. But I guess that's why they put it in a gigabit. They were planning ahead. Thomas says, anybody reported being able to adjust the various parameters of SRT, such as latency and passphrase? Okay, so actually, I got an email from Jake, a friend of Photo Joseph's, who sent some details about how he did this. There is... Let me copy this out of my email so I can share it. Where's my text editor? Oh, what is... Why are we getting all those invisible characters? There we go. Let's just do it this way. So, format, plain text. Great. So he was able to, so first of all, I actually asked the YouTube guy this, and when you start streaming on the web presenter, which I assume is also true on the ATEM, it will actually do a quick ping test first and set the latency to the appropriate value automatically, which is great. So you don't have to think about it. Otherwise you have to measure this. So normally you would have to measure your ping time. There's instructions somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So you measure your ping time and your packet loss, and then you use this times your ping time. So if your ping is 10 milliseconds, you would multiply that by, round trip would be 20, and you multiply that by 3 to get 60 milliseconds for your latency. But the Blackmagic stuff just does that for you, so you don't have to think about it. So that's good. But the other thing is, if you go edit the XML file with the streaming details, you can add parameters. So let me fix the indents here. So normally in the ATEM, your SRT settings are like URL, stream key, and passphrase. But it looks like in anything after so he has two parameters here. R is, I guess, the stream key, and then M is publish. I don't know why. Caster requires this for some reason, but he was able to get it to work. This is like the thing that you get from caster.io. So he was able to put the first part of the URL here and then put in this stuff as SRT extensions. So that's useful. I don't know how he found that. Sometimes they update the manual with this stuff, sometimes not. Let's see if it's in the manual. The ATEM Mini manual should have been updated to include this. Michael says, hey, I'm using Caster right now. Now you can do it over SRT. So somewhere in here, let's see if there's streaming settings. No, it would be XML. There's an XML section. I know I've seen this in the manual before. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. XML. Yeah. Oh, weird. I thought they had a whole section in here documenting the XML properties. I guess not. I've seen it somewhere. Okay, anyway, cinematic look. The ISO versions will have the possibility of ingesting to resolve this, the network port, and the disk will be able to handle the data flow, eliminating the need to use Blackmagic Cloud Store. I feel like I already mentioned that. Was that a duplicate comment, or did I just forget to show it? Yes. Sharif says, in the latest ATEM update, not all USB-C to USB-A cables work well, so choose carefully. Why doesn't it work directly from USB-C to USB-C iPad? That should work. It should show up as a capture card on the iPad with, I didn't actually try that though. That's interesting. But yeah, not all USB-C cables are created equally. They are, it's a giant mess. Sometimes they are charge only. Sometimes they're limited to not USB 3. It's a mess. Can you demonstrate the network recording options now available with the new ATEM update? I just did. Yep. Sorry, I didn't see your comment. And I did instant replay demo. Is the ATEM Mini update also for the original model? The option to select what goes out to the webcam would be helpful there too. No. So it is only the Pros and Pro and Extreme. They did not touch the original update in that. So if you look at the list of models, the following models have new features: Pro, Pro ISO, Extreme, Extreme ISO, Pro ISO, SDI Pro, SDI Extreme. So sadly, not in the original. It seems like, oh, and also not in the ATEM SDI. It's only in the Pro and Extreme, which they don't even list the original ATEM Mini on their site anymore because the Pro is now the price of the original. So there's no point. But they do have the non-Pro version of the SDI, which it looks like did not get that update with the multi-view routing. Oh, I missed this question from earlier. How to connect a GoPro to the ATEM Mini Pro over HDMI, and it's a giant mess, and I do not recommend it, but if you really want to, I have a video all about it. Let me go find it. There's a couple settings you'll need to do to make this work. GoPro video. So I'll drop that link in the chat. Can you send local signals coming to the ATEM into Resolve? I'm not sure what you mean by local. Any of the HDMI video feeds that get recorded can be brought into Resolve. Are the latest ATEM software updates for the main ATEM range only or for the TV8 also? Only the minis right now. I assume they're going to do the same update with the TV Studio range, but right now it's only the minis got the update. These ones did not get the update. These can already do a lot more of the stuff anyway. Like, they don't have the same problems as the minis. Really, it's like these are getting, like, I'm pretty sure these already do SRT. I don't have one, so I'm not 100% on that, but I was pretty sure they did already. But yeah, it's basically like making the minis a lot closer to those. My rule on USB cables, if it's important, just use a Thunderbolt cable, which has always worked. That is a good rule. Yes, I like that rule. For sharing apps on stream, do you have multiple macOS spaces for each app? Does the companion button switch to the app, or do you just switch before you put it on stream? I just switch before I put it on stream. I have one screen in front of me, and you can see it there, and I don't use spaces. I do have my cameras over on the spaces, so I can watch the cats, but I just switch before I bring it on stream. Then I just go like that, and then you can see it. Just takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. We use a late 2012 Mac for Companion that can't run the latest version of ATEM Software Control. Will we break that app on that machine if we upgrade the ATEM ISO firmware from a different PC? Ooh, good question. If you can't run the latest ATEM Software Control, if you run the setup app, it will prompt you to downgrade the ATEM, but you can use, and I don't know about exact versions of this, but you can use an older version of the ATEM software control, this one, to talk to a new firmware. Obviously, the new features won't be supported, like you won't get the multi-view options in the old version of the software control app. But everything else should work. I don't know exactly how old before that stops working, but I have done it that direction. If you run the ATEM setup app, it will, and try to connect to it, it'll prompt you to upgrade, but it's actually going to downgrade it to whatever version that setup app is. So don't do that, and you'll be fine. Is your desktop rack a custom build or off the shelf? It is definitely custom. This is, there was a bunch of extra, they're doing all the cabinets and built-in stuff in the house right now. So I was like, I just asked them, hey, can you cut some pieces of MDF for me? And I just gave them a little drawing of the sizes of these pieces of wood. So they cut that wood out for me, and then I glued it, nailed it, sanded it, painted all that myself. And I made 2 of them. They came out pretty good. They're not perfect. Can we adjust SRT parameters like the latency comparing SRT to RTMP? The SRT is suffering from blocking and RTMP is not. Suggests I would need to up the latency on the SRT so that it can do error correction. I don't actually see latency. Well, someone needs to document this. Because how do I get the XML for that? I did one from the streaming bridge. That's what I did. If I go into the ATEM setup for the streaming bridge. Oh, but I didn't get a SRT option. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna have to play around with this and get some better docs on that XML format, because there is some stuff you can do with the XML, but it's not exactly clear to me how many of the properties you can edit from that. So if I look at if I look at what I exported from the streaming bridge, I do get 2 options, SRT and RTMP, but the profiles. Oh, this is interesting. This suggests that there's going to be something coming that supports H.265, if not already. But that's usually an actual hardware limitation. But yeah, so there's bitrate, keyframe interval, but no latency options here. I don't know what that means. And we need to figure out what else can we add for SRT options in the XML file, because the ATEM software doesn't have very many options. Oh, you already asked, Andy. As of Zoom 5.17, Zoom has implemented special logic when detecting a Blackmagic design USB webcam, which will allow the device to properly transmit color over Zoom. Wow. Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you for asking, Andy. Companion allows you to automate and manipulate the multi-view, so you could use it like a poor man's super source. You could do some stuff with that, yeah. Can you program a companion, this is from Peter Dams, can you program a companion button to show a certain video in Live App? I don't think Live App has companion support, does it? If I remember correctly, I don't remember seeing anything like that in here. So let's just double check, because really it takes over the ATEM rather than like, yeah, it really wants to be the controller for the ATEM so that it can do camera, like camera switching for you when the video starts and stops. I don't see. Let's see. So like you tell it which ATEM you want to connect to in there, but there's nothing in here about. Oh, there is remote control. Maybe that's what that means. Remote control. Oh, companion. There is a companion module. I had no idea. That's fantastic. So yes, you can. You can queue up playlists. And there's a video about it. Well, look at that. I learned something today also. Great. That's exciting. I should do a video about that. Can we use a 9.5 update to the ATEM Constellation HD? No, it doesn't. It didn't affect that one. Richmond says, earlier this week in your SRT demo, did I see you send an SRT stream to the web presenter from the ATEM? Yes. Did I specify a port number? I don't think so. That's an interesting point. Let's see. Let's get my super source back here so we can try it. So instead of the deck link, I'm going to grab my streaming bridge in that box. And then we're going to double check that I'm not going to show stream keys for YouTube. And yep. Okay. So in here, I'm going to change to custom URL, and then I'll say SRT. What is my streaming bridge? I forgot my streaming bridge IP address. It is 200.3. Let's try it. So if I just do no IP address or no port number and no stream key. Yeah, no port number. There we go. I have no idea why that camera is set to be routed to the streaming bridge, but that's interesting. So it must be using the default, I guess. That's what that means. If I had $1 for every time Aaron said I should do a video about that, I could buy a lot of stuff. I wonder if the Zoom summary will get this. It would be useful if the Zoom summary included action items every time I said I should do a video about that. So yeah, I should do a video about that. Will the growing files feature work in the iPad version of Resolve? Ooh, I don't know about that. I have a feeling probably not. I should install the iPad version of Resolve now that I have a fancy iPad. Is it possible to take multi-stream ISO recordings to editing software other than Resolve and have it all synced up? Mostly, yeah. So actually, Photo Joseph did a video about this, but I mean, like, it's not really anything special. The special thing is that the Resolve project file, which I've actually never used because it doesn't include things like SuperSource. So like this DaVinci Resolve project file is the like special thing, but really it's just a bunch of files. Like the video files are just files on the drive, and they're already all in sync because they all start and stop at the exact same time. So you can just take these into any video editor as if they were recorded in separate cameras. Like it's not really anything special about this being recorded in the ATEM if you just ignore the Resolve project file. So you can just go, okay, let's take those, copy them to a drive, and then just treat them like separate cameras and sync them up. You don't even need to sync them up. They're already in sync because they're all the same length. If you just drop them into a multicam clip in Final Cut or whatever, it'll work fine. Do you think it's possible using this for instant replay like the HyperDeck cheaper solution with the macro? With a second operator? I mean, yeah, so the whole thing they're doing now with this Resolve instant replay workflow is exactly that. It's like have a replay person with the replay keyboard, which definitely makes it a lot easier to manage. And then they're able to control everything as like they're the replay person. Do you know if the webcam output sends time code over USB? Can you plug this into a camera to show program or multi-view? Webcam out. Bidirectional HDMI to SDI. How do you get from the webcam to HDMI though? Blackmagic Studio camera, and I don't think that would work. How many Thunderbolt connections is that, and what device consumes how many lanes? I have no idea. I have not dug into that. Would it work with two Ultra Studio monitors, the small ones? No. So the Resolve feature specifically only works with the Ultra Studio 4K Mini. The other reason it doesn't work with these is that key fill feature of the two SDI outs, it looks like one device to the computer. It's not like sending to, it's not like the computer's, you can't, what am I saying? I don't know how to describe this. When you select the output device in your computer, you only choose one device. And then that device is responsible for taking the alpha channel of the video signal and sending it out the separate SDI port. You don't have the option of using a separate device for the key and a separate device for the fill. That's also true in OBS. Like with OBS, I don't have the option of choosing two separate devices for the key and fill. I choose the Ultra Studio device and I tell it the keyer is external, and then OBS sends the signal to the Ultra Studio, and the Ultra Studio makes the two video feeds. So same problem. I can't do the chat, even the chat overlay with two of the small devices. I have to use the Ultra Studio 4K. Well, actually OBS would work with the Mini. Adam said he had to use a USB hub on the iPad. Oh, interesting. That's so weird. Why? Huh. So in order to use replay, you need the controller, $495, deck link, $495, the Sonnet, $695, and a computer if you don't already have one. It just got very expensive. I wouldn't actually call that very expensive considering the alternatives. But you don't need the deck link and Sonnet. You can do it with, actually you can't do it with the deck link right now. You have to get the Ultra Studio. That is $1,000, so it's about the same price anyway. But yeah, so $1,000 for the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, $495 for the replay keyboard, which again you don't need, but like you're gonna want it, and that's $500, right? Replay editor $500. Oh, and then you need if you're not doing it with the ATEM, you need to get a cloud store. But the ATEM is a nice way to do that. But if you're doing it with HyperDecks, it's one HyperDeck per camera you want to do replay on, which that adds up fast for sure. But now that you can do it with the ATEM Extreme or Mini Pro ISO, that is suddenly much more affordable because then you don't even need the cloud store. So the big downside though is that these record H.264, whereas on the HyperDecks you can record ProRes, which is much higher quality. And I think that this is my suspicion based on my quick testing, which, oh, where's Resolve? Which is that if I try to play back the file at the very end, it needs a little bit of buffer. I can't quite play back in real time. On the HyperDecks, you can play it back almost to the second that it's being recorded. And I think that's the difference between H.264 and ProRes. But yeah, I think it's actually a really affordable option if you're doing ATEM Mini Pro ISO, $500, a USB drive, those are cheap. $1,000 for the Ultra Studio and $500 for, so $2,000 is like you have your full resolve, your full replay workflow and a computer. Yes. I think that's affordable considering a lot of the other options that are out there. Yeah. Eric says, speaking of alternatives, the Hawkeye system's smart replay system is $60,000 to $100,000, but that's what the NFL uses. Yes. That's the idea. That's the idea. Where was I? I'm almost caught up. Great. Michael says, I've been using it with the Refurb Mac Mini M1 I bought for $360 and it's been wonderful. Oh, great. I'm so excited you're actually using it. I can't wait till the keyboard comes out. Unfortunately, I don't think I actually have a legitimate use for one, so I'm not going to buy one, but I will hopefully get them to loan me one so I can at least do a video about it when it comes out. But it's not shipping yet, so they can't send it yet. Musty says, hi, I have a problem with Unreal Engine. I need a decklink card to be seen in Unreal. I noticed you have a decklink card. How did you connect it to a Mac? For Windows, there are PCI slots. It's in an enclosure, so it's a it's the Sonnet enclosure, which I'll drop the link again. Okay. Will the HD Mini work? Is that the names? Ultra Studio HD Mini. No. I don't see why they couldn't make it work, but right now it doesn't because you need the audio mute feature, which they only added in the 4K Mini. But this does have key fill output. So yeah. So theoretically they could add it to this. Don't know why they didn't. That would bring the cost down a lot, which would be nice. The other thing is their new device, where is it? Oh my gosh. Is it here? This one. If you are considering buying the Ultra Studio 4K Mini for the replay feature, I would probably recommend waiting a little bit because this is their new one. They just announced. It's not actually out yet. But this thing it's very similar to the Ultra Studio, but it's like made even more like, see how this is on, see how the background of this image is the Resolve Instant Replay feature. This thing is probably the one you should get because this has better connections. So also interesting, like it has a front Thunderbolt connection for the Mac, which is I think actually a really important feature. So you can put this in a rack and then plug in a laptop in the front to run your replay. But this has it has more outputs and 10 gig Ethernet. So this can be your Ethernet connection for that computer also. Whereas if you get the Ultra Studio, you don't get an Ethernet connection there, so you have to have your network somewhere else. This thing, I think, they made exactly to be a replay box. So if you are thinking about a new purchase, I would probably wait until this is available. Michael says, I'm waiting for mine to ship. You're welcome to borrow it for a video. I'm not actually shooting. Oh, that's one way. That's a way to do it. The replay keyboard. Yeah, maybe I'll take you up on that. Roland P20, $1,800, 2 inputs, and it's hardware-based and just 1 unit to carry around. That is true. The Roland makes the only other affordable replay box. Where is that? This one. Video instant replayer. This is... Where are the inputs? 2 inputs, preview main, HDMI only. That's, I wish I had SDI. Where's the panel? Record and replay at the same time. Records directly to SD cards. Yeah, this thing that looks good. I've never played with it, but this is the only other affordable one that's out there. And interesting that it's actually about the same price as the gear you need for the Resolve workflow. I guess the big difference here is that you get 2, right? That's it. You get 2 cameras. So the... Where's the... Yeah, because I had 2 HDMI inputs. Presumably it records both at the same time. Not 100% sure on that. I can't find it in here. Maybe the block diagram can help us. I really like their block diagrams. Live in, scalar, input select. Ooh, input select goes here, and then the recording, before the recording. So only one channel is recorded. That's the big difference. So, okay, so the recording goes in, SD card replay, decode, replay title overlays, output select between live or replay. Yep. Okay, so it's 2 inputs, but it only records one of them. So it is a single channel instant replay device. That's the big difference between this and Resolve. So this is not a bad price. But it's just the one channel. Whereas with Resolve, you get... Like, I'm just doing this on Extreme, and I'm only using 4 channels, but I can go into any of these angles and choose a bit, and then run it out of the output. So, and that with the Extreme, I get 8. And if you are like, there's no real limit to the number because, yeah. I should go grab a drive and we can really put this to the test. Watch this. I need another USB cable. Where did all my USB cables go? Let's see if this works. This is the ATEM Mini. Mini. Oh, it's my house files drive, whatever. I think that's fine. I don't want to sync that. Oh, interesting. I logged into this one. Okay. So we're recording to the Mini. And I can go to the network. ATEM Mini SDI ISO. There's my drive. There's the Mini. There's my video ISO files. Now, I can, in Resolve, why don't I just add files from the other ATEM? Right? Why not? Here's 4 new angles. And now I've got 8. Here, I can also add the other 4 in the extreme, which are black, but just to make the point. I don't actually have anything, all the little Mario Kart is turned off right now. But the point is that in Resolve, I now have 12 cameras that I can replay from. So I can go here, I can be like, oh, we want to use that little bit. Here's a point of interest. Let's go replay that. Or I want to go grab from this angle from the other ATEM. Like, I'm not limited. I can put 2 extremes and have 16. I can, it's crazy, right? I can just keep adding hyperdecks if I want to do a hyperdeck also. I can, here, let me do the hyperdeck one. I have, what's going into the hyperdeck right now? That's it looks like it's my program feed. So I'll start that recording, which records the network, and I'll add that one also. And that one is recording to my cloud pod, which is this file. And now I've got one from the hyperdeck I can bring into the stream too. And this one, I can play much more real time. Oh, not quite. Not quite that fast. There we go. So that's pretty cool. I've got 13 angles to choose from for instant replays now. So yeah, just keep stacking hyperdecks or keep adding more extremes or ATEM minis for however many angles you want. And that is why that's why it's a more affordable option. Because in the Roland option, you have to buy a replay box per angle or risk losing. If you're just replaying off of the program feed, it's fine. But if you want to replay any of the ISOs, you need a separate replay box per camera. That is why this is exciting. This is starting to become a recurring theme. Am I going to Infocom? I am not. I am not going to Infocom, sorry. I like the Blackmagic replay, but for sports it's kind of pointless because the sweet slow motion is missing. I didn't think slow motion was missing. There's an option here, which is... Where is it? I know I saw it on the keyboard. So my whole thing is set to 30 frames a second, so the slow motion will be choppy. But if the production was running at 60 frames a second, you would be able to slow down to 30 frames per second replay. I just don't know where the button is. It might not be in Resolve. I know I saw it on the keyboard though. Let's see. Where was that? Products, Resolve, Replay Editor. Where's the... They're showing me all about Resolve Replay. Where's the actual keyboard? There it is. This is the speed control. So you can choose how fast you want to play back. Slow motion is 100% there. Not practical without the keyboard though. Okay, cool. I can't even find it in the Resolve app, but yeah, that's why you want the keyboard. It'll attempt to use Resolve's fancy slow-mo, whatever that's called too. I don't even know what that is. What is Resolve's fancy slow-mo? Oh yeah, I forgot you can also look at a multi-view of all your angles. Oh, this may not work because the time code isn't synced up right between all of them, probably. Still, this is pretty good. Oh, my... Yeah, okay. Timecode is the whole other topic you have to set up right to make this work well. Optical flow. Oh, funny. Okay. That's cool. Do I have a video that explains why you need 2 or 4 ME? I was working with a customer who doesn't know tech, but is quite questioning every dollar in the quote, but doesn't understand ME. I don't have a video about that. The easiest, simplest explanation, I think, for them would be, if you want to stream something and feed a projector, and you want the projector feed to be able to do things that are not just straight cuts. So if you want the projector to like do a fade, a crossfade, or picture in picture of something, then that is a very clear use of 2 MEs that they can probably understand. There's other uses of more than 1 ME, but they get to be more complicated to understand. Enable real-time controls and you'll see new controls on top of the clip. I think that's just for regular resolve. I think that's not for the replay feature. That's in here where you... Can I edit a file in here when it's being recorded? I don't know. That's this, speed change. But that's in the regular editor. I don't know if it's part of the replay, where it is in the replay controls. I feel like it's this. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Doug has a video on need for multiple MEs. Okay, good tip. Oh, hello, Jake. Thank you for the XML tips. Okay. Folks might want to get a drink or a snack. Aaron's on a roll. I think we're about to the end. Would the DeckLink card also be recognized in a GPU enclosure that is Thunderbolt? I don't know if GPU enclosures do something special or if it's just or not. Yeah, I don't know. Hour and 40. Okay, now we're at hour 48. Geez, we should wrap this up. Okay. I almost couldn't even start the stream this morning because there was a baby crow out right outside the front door, and its parents were like keeping an eye on it from the power lines and trees nearby. And anytime I would look out the window, they would see my face and they would start screaming, and I was terrified that they were going to come and jump on me. Thankfully, the baby left the front porch, and I was able to leave the house. Okay, we are going to wrap this up. Oh my gosh, it is time. It's been almost 2 hours. I need to go take a break. Maybe do some assembly of this rack, put some gear into it. I need to get the HyperDecks off of the desk and into that rack. And yeah, don't forget to like the video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Larry, David, and Marson. Why is my music not going? Sometimes the music doesn't work in this, and I don't know why. Let's try this again. It's important. The end music. There we go. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Larry, David, and Marson. Thanks to everybody for being a supporter of the channel. You can join the members Discord to keep in touch throughout the week. see you next week. Yeah, I will be here same time, same place next week. Maybe we'll talk about some of the other devices in next week instead. This is why you use a live band. That would be another option. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for the questions. And if you do have any other questions, drop them in the comments afterwards, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, okay. This has been fun. I'm gonna go finish building this cabinet and then maybe make some hot sauce. I think that's the plan for the rest of my day. I have a pound of habaneros I need to turn into hot sauce before the end of the day. Okay. Thanks everybody. See you all next week.